Hey, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of restoring the 1967 Serro Scotty camper.
So before I tear the siding and roof off this thing, I have to have a place to get it in out of any kind of weather, rain, or snow we may have. It will not fit through my garage door due to the way the door is constructed. There's angles on the corners and there's no way it's going to go in there. So I had to come up with something. I found a portable garage at Harbor Freight for 200 bucks and got a coupon, so I ended up getting it for 160. I put a treated wood foundation around it to raise the door height a little bit and make it really anchored to the ground well. There's not quite enough room inside to work very well, but I can pull it out, work on it, and if it is going to rain, put it back in quick so it doesn't get wet. So it worked out okay, and it was well worth doing. So I started with taking the rock guard or awning cover off the front window and removing the front window, which revealed a lot of rot right off the bat. I knew it needed replaced. So that's where we started, and I tore the whole front off. Before I began tearing it apart, I took careful measurements inside and out, where the brackets for the dinette table go and the window size and location, etc. I did one small section at a time to maintain the structural integrity of the entire camper. So before I show you the next thing, I want to do some explaining. I retired as a maintenance superintendent from a university, and part of my job there was to troubleshoot things and find a way to solve problems and save money doing it. There may be some people that look at this as kind of half-assed, but I think it's a good fix, and I think it's perfectly fine, and I think it was a way to solve a problem and save a lot of work and a lot of material costs. Why replace good plywood with new plywood with the cost it is these days? So the side walls were in extremely good condition, except the bottom 4 inches, where water apparently had weeped up through from, rain splashing while driving off the tires, that kind of thing. So the plywood was all good except for the very bottom. So I replaced just the bottom, and here's what it looked like. So the seam between the new plywood and the old plywood is right at the seat line of the dinette in the front and the gaucho bed in the rear. So the only place the seam would show on the interior is in the bathroom. I'll put wainscoting on the wall, which will cover that. I caulked that seam and I put metal plates on the joint, as you can see there, just to keep everything flush and firm and structurally sound. I think it worked out well. So next it was time to start working on the roof, which was really a mess. And I really needed to see what was under all that. There was one place inside that it was actually rotted clear through and there was a hole, so I knew there were problems. And it turned out it just all needed replaced, so the whole roof came off.
So today we're taking the roof off, and I'm starting to pressure wash it so you can see the results. I got a lot of scraping to do of loose paint or that doesn't get off, and try to get some of that tar off here at the seams. So I'll see you here in a minute. Alright, so I got the wood strips off, and now what I'm going to do is lay the new plywood on the roof right on top of that sheet and flush up all the edges and mark for the vent. I'll be back here in a minute. Well, I sure hope that's the right spot, don't you? Should be. And she's off. So, couple things, just in case you don't know. The cabinets in a Scotty are structural. So, they should hold the side walls from spreading any. They should do what they're designed to do. But without the roof on there at all, I fear they could. So I'm going to replace one sheet at a time. I put a sheet of plywood, new plywood back on here, get it all buttoned down, and then take the next one off, and it can't move that way. So that's how I'm doing and why I'm doing it that way. All right. Oh, one other thing. This right here is like a molding. It's like a corner molding that they put in that closes any gap between the wall and the roof. So you want to leave that. And you know, when I do the interior, that'll be painted and seal everything up. So next I got to make sure all these little nails are pulled and out of the way, and then I can put the new sheet on here. All right, I'll be back.
Okay, so once again, the plywood on the walls was in extremely good shape, even at the top. Luckily, that's like amazing. The ends of the 1x3s that run across the roof were in some cases rotted off and in some cases just soft. And there's laminated 1.5 inch wide, 1/4 inch thick strips of plywood on the top edge of the wall plywood that lays in between the 1x3s. That's what they had on there. And that is where your J channel, the aluminum strip that transitions between the wall and roof on the outside, that's what it screws into. And that laminated plywood on the top of above the wall was bad, and the ends of the 1x3s were bad. So that all needed replaced. But again, extremely luckily, the wall plywood was good and solid. So all that got replaced. Well, you'll see here in the pictures. So with all the plywood that needed replaced finished and all new 1x4s in the roof, it was time to start adding some insulation and then get the metal back on the sides. So join me again next week. By then all the metal will be back on and we'll start prepping for exterior paint. I'll see you then. Hey, thanks for watching the videos. And please give a thumbs up and subscribe so you can follow this project clear through to the end. I'll see you next week.